You are listening to the Life in Attleboro Podcast, where we interview the city's most interesting people making a positive difference in our community. Hey everyone, I'm the host of the Life in Attleboro Podcast, Mike Sullivan, and today we're bringing you a conversation with Amy Rhilinger. She's the director at the Attleboro Public Library. My goodness, there is so much to do there. It has to be one of the most, if not the most, visited place in our city. Wait until you hear how many people are expected to walk through the doors this year. It is mind-blowing. We also talked about the hundreds of free programs you could take advantage of right now. And Amy also explained how you can get discounts at local museums, zoos, and so much more. So enjoy episode 6 of the Life in Attleboro podcast. All right, joining me now is Amy Rhilinger. She's the director of the Attleboro Public Library, which is located at 74 North Main Street. That's right across from the YMCA, but you probably know where it is. It's a big, beautiful building with a lot of history. Speaking of history, I want to start with a brief history about the building itself because it is such a beautiful building. The fine detail throughout that marble floor on the second floor where the gallery and that meeting room is, I love all of it. So when was the library built and how has it evolved over the years?
Sure. So the library opened in 1907 on land that was donated by Joseph Sweet in 1885. If you are a frequent library visitor, you'll recognize that we are a Carnegie-style library. There's a lot of libraries around the country that look like ours. However, when Carnegie offered Attleboro money to build the library, they said, thanks, but no thanks. We'll do it ourselves, which is typical, right? I'm a Yankee born and bred here in Massachusetts. So I'm like, that's great, but we've got this. I used to give tours of the library to fifth graders when I worked in the kids' room. And one of the things we would do in the marble lobby. So when I was a kid, that was the main entrance, right? So you walked up those big stairs and enter this majestic place. And it speaks a lot to Attleboro, the importance that they place on information and curiosity. And this is important.
Has anyone ever been married there, or have there been any private, extravagant, little known events that happened in the walls of the library over the years?
Oh, so back in the day, I'm not aware of any. Present day, it's funny. There's a few folks in town who do want us to do weddings. It would be a beautiful place for a small party. So we're working on an event. Like when I say working on, we're talking about like it would need to be its own wedding, like event manager. We're just busy. We're so busy. I can't imagine adding wedding parties, brides to our list of things that we are doing. But there's certainly and people know that. And we're thinking of if we had a separate manager and we had a preferred caterer. Morin's is in our backyard. So there's talk, but not yet.
Well, one thing is for sure, the people of Attleboro love the library. Last year, there were 97,406 library visits. That is incredible. Any idea how much you're on track for this year?
Sure. So first, I'll tell you that we bought a people counter. It's like a laser thing that counts people through the doors a year and a half ago. It was installed after the renovation because we know that what we see in the building is not the public perception of what happens in the library. And these numbers prove it. Like I know how busy we are and I never would have guessed that number, but we are on track for right about 100,000 people this year. Again, we have our quiet times and it's so funny. We joke about it as a staff. Like this is the time we could have the most wild, chaotic hour and then everyone will go home and someone will come in. Oh, must be nice to sit here and read all day. Like we know it's coming, but it's about 370 people through the doors each day. Like that's our average number. This year, every year we have a big summer reading kickoff. It's a big party in the park. It's the library, it's the schools, it's the Y, it's the museum, all of the organizations we know and love. So 530 people through the doors that day, even though the event was outside. So that was a Friday afternoon. It's always the last day of school. The next day, so Monday following that, first day of summer vacation, 546 people through our doors. And I tell people that I am so happy to be living and working in a city that utilizes its library like that.
That is incredible. Unbelievable. So our city's population is just shy of 50,000. We've got 47, 48,000. And I find this amazing too. of that population, there are more than 17,000 library card holders in our city. One reason I think that is because of the incredible programs offered. In fact, there are 444 free programs offered. My goodness. I won't make you go through all of them, obviously, but can you highlight some of the most popular and some of the ones most people might not know about that they can take advantage of?
Sure. So libraries are always going to be book clubs and story time, right? And we have that in spades. But we also have a genealogy club that is really popular. We have a couple Saturdays a month, reading with Rover. So that's kids practicing their reading to dogs, like live, real dogs in the library. Right now with the middle school, high school age, Dungeons and Dragons is wildly popular. Because we subscribe to a database called Creative Bug, it's like online video tutorials for all sorts of creative endeavors. We do crafternoons for adults that are super popular. And then not all of the programs are our programs. Sometimes they are the Cultural Council, when they give their grants, a lot of their people come here. We have a lineup of magicians and musicians and storytellers that come. Adult wise, mushroom hunting was really big last year. A lot of mushroom programs that people are still asking about. So, you never know.
All right, I want to talk about free summer meals. It's something that you help partner with and help out with, but food insecurity comes to light during the summer when children don't have access to free breakfast and free lunch like they do at school. So can you explain how free summer meals, what it is, and how people can take advantage of that?
So the Attleboro Area Interfaith Collaborative does a free lunch program throughout the city. This year, they're not doing it in Balfour Riverwalk Park right next door to us. They did used to do it there. This year, they're doing it at the Briggs Playground, the Capron Park Playground, and Lee's Pond. And there's another one in Norton. So they take part. They were at the summer reading kickoff. They were at our community events, making sure we get the word out.
So I'm a member of the sales network at the library, and we really love this program. There are some really good benefits that you can take advantage of if you're a member of the sales network. So what is the sales network? How does it work? And how can we benefit?
Sure. So being a part of a 70 library network, this gets us better pricing on lots of services, whether it's databases or professional development or programming or whatnot. So that helps taxpayer dollars go further, right? We're all a fan of that. And it means delivery, right? When I was a kid, way back in the day, you relied on the books that your library had in stock, right? But now you can come in and say, oh, I want this, German cookbook, and Attleboro doesn't have it, but Somerset does. And in 3 days, it'll be here for you to pick up in Attleboro.
What's something that a lot of people might not know about the library?
So passes are a big thing, and every library has a different set of passes. I mean, a lot of them, like Boston Children's Museum, the MFA, are very common, but each library has its own set, and passes are a little bit different. They don't get delivered, but you can borrow them from anybody. And I will say that Attleboro staff goes above and beyond with saying, okay, ours is checked out today, but they will do a search on what local library, where are you near? Are you near Seekonk? Are you near Mansfield? We'll tell you who has it available and give them a call.
All right, so there's no doubt the Attleboro Public Library certainly offers its residents a ton of free programs, great benefits, everything. So one way that we can help give back to the library is through a group called Friends of the Attleboro Library. Can you please explain what that group does and how someone can join?
Sure. The friends do a lot of different things. The most basic way to be a friend is to pay yearly dues, right? You pay $35, $20, whatever, different levels of membership, and your money goes directly to the library. And the friends vote every month. Staff writes requests saying, hey, we'd love money for more passes. We'd love more money for technology. And that money, they say, okay, that's what we will do for you. But there's also, you can volunteer. The book sale, this year it's on November 16th. The book sale is a great way to volunteer. And we are working now to do more for the friends to do more events, so they can pay their dues and support the library financially, but they can also be a part of events like our pumpkin painting event in October. Puzzle races, jigsaw puzzle races have been very, very popular here. And the friends are going to take over running those events so the staff can do other things. So the friends will be doing things like that.
Anything else you think people should know about the library?
10 years ago, people were saying, why is a library important? You can just Google everything. And you don't hear that as much now because they're learning that You can Google facts, but you need a person to guide you through things. Like we get to know people really well. People come and ask questions about a new health diagnosis, right? And how to explain a death in the family to their children and really sensitive topics. And so staff has to really engage with them. I remember someone didn't know how to change their name back after a divorce. Like that's a hard thing to go up to a stranger and ask. And I have to say, that's our staff is exceptional. We learned that during the pandemic, right? When people are like, hey, we haven't seen so-and-so in a long time. Somebody should check up on them. Like it's really, as much as Attleboro is a big city, there's very much a small town feel that you really get the sense of in the library. They help you write resumes and give you tips on looking for jobs because people feel like they're the only person with that question, but we know you're not. And we learn things and we can pass along those tips and tricks to other people.
All right, Amy, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would say that sometimes people get intimidated. It's a big building. It's a very formal building. But one thing, like for me, I will never be accused of being that formal. I am very approachable. And I feel like sometimes I answer more questions in the grocery store than I do at work. There's something about a staff member sitting behind a desk that makes people feel like, oh, I don't want to disturb you. But really our job, like we're sitting there so that you can ask us questions. And the staff feels very strongly that there are no dumb questions. You can come and ask for a beach read. You can come and ask for the Great American Novel. Like they're like from the bottom of my heart, that there's literally no judgment. And oftentimes there's some staff members like, oh, did you just ask for that? What silly romance book? Like, oh, I just read that. It's so awesome. Talk to me when you bring it back. I love that about our building.
Amy Rhilinger, Director of the Attleboro Public Library, thank you so very much for sharing all of your wisdom, your time, and just the history and all the free programs offered at the library. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I really hope you enjoyed our conversation with Amy. We are just getting started here on the Life in Attleboro podcast, and it would mean so much if you hit that subscribe button and leave a 5-star review. Tell a friend or family member who lives in our great city. Share this episode with them and get them to subscribe. And if you think you know someone who would make a great guest on our podcast, someone who is making a difference in our community, or just has a really cool story to share, please shoot us an email at lifeinattleboro@gmail.com. That's lifeinattleboro@gmail.com. Also, make sure you sign up for our email list. The Life in Attleboro community is growing extremely fast, so if you always want to be in the know about events happening in our great city, be among the first to find out about brand new podcast episodes. And most importantly, if you want to save some money and support the great businesses and restaurants in Attleboro, you got to sign up for the email list. You can do that by going to lifeinattleboro.com. You'll see the sign-up display right there on our homepage. That's it for today, everyone. Life in Attleboro is a great thing. Support our community, promote positivity, and make a stranger smile. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Life in Attleboro podcast.